Well, I really wasn't in the market for one of these, but I saw this and I absolutely had to have it for some reason. Uh, I was told that it is a running truck, although I am beginning to debate the accuracy of that statement. It's a old 216 in it. The engine does turn over by hand, but I think the plug wires may be compromised. The 3-speed column shift linkage is jammed up as usual. There's also a giant dent in the firewall for some reason. This truck looked a lot better before it was sitting in my garage. It's got a few issues. Driver's side of the cab isn't too bad for rust. The usual cab corner, and looks like the floor pan's going to need some attention as well. The door jamb area is fairly solid still. I think this truck's awesome. Pretty hard miles in its time. The odometer I think reads around 80,000, and it looks like those are 80,000 of maintenance-free miles. It's definitely had a hard life. The column mount is definitely compromised. Don't quite know what's going on there. Looks like I've got a bunch of garbage to clean out of the box. And I've got a very poor rear fender here. It's quite an interesting weld repair here. So like somebody actually spent some time on that, so I gotta give them a solid E for effort. That is pretty ferocious. And we also got this interesting little dent at the back here. I don't quite know what they ran into, but it's interesting because this fender's been welded once before, and then obviously it was torn again, so it's almost like they kept running into the same thing over and over again. But I'm gonna have to do some repairing there to make that more presentable. And we've got this great old tire here, a 17-inch Alpine. Certainly seen better days, but it appears to hold air, so that's very good. Tailgate's there, but in poor condition, as expected on a farm truck. Thankfully, the fender on this side is in better shape. I'm not saying it's a good fender, but I guess compared to the other side, anything is an improvement. I've been kind of looking for some replacement sheet metal for this truck, and everyone everywhere seems to be sold out of everything. So whatever rust repair I do on this, I'm going to be having to build all my own panels. It looks like I'm not too sure how far I'm going to go on this one yet. It all depends on whether or not it's going to run. Again, it's a little rougher than what I was hoping for, so I'm gonna try and decide if it's worth my time to spend some time getting this thing put back together, or what I'm gonna do. The passenger side of the cab is quite poor for rust. The front body mount is completely separated from the rest of the cab. The floor's got some really sketchy previous repairs on it. And so all this is very poor. Right now the cab is literally resting on the frame on this side, which is probably what's contributing to the shift linkage not working properly. The door on this side is also very poor. I probably won't do anything with that. Alright, well I put a 6-volt battery in this thing and starter seems to be working. So now I'm kind of tempted to see if I can get this thing to run. I think I'm going to have to put a little better set of spark plug wires on it though. I just pulled this one off and it's not looking too good. And distributor cap looks, this thing will focus. Maybe not. The distributor cap's pretty filthy looking, so I think I'm gonna have to pull that off and clean everything up. Try to find a better set of spark plug wires, and maybe this thing has some chance of actually starting, which would be pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't know, maybe this thing did run, but all I've got is a 6-volt battery, and I just think a lot of this is going to need to be cleaned up before I even attempt to do anything with it. So, gee, this is just it's not looking too good. I think that'll clean up though. Alright, well I've cobbled together a very questionable assortment of spark plug wires, but they're certainly better than what was on there. I also oiled up the starter and greased up the distributor and cleaned up a bunch of the contacts on the various electrical areas. I very carefully fill the carburetor up with gas through the vent tube, and by that I mean I spilled a whole bunch of gas everywhere, so that's good to go. The coil hot wired right now, so batteries unhooked, but we got our auxiliary fuel tank there, and I guess we're ready to hook up the battery and see what this thing will do. Alright, make sure we got no fires. Sure, looks good. And nope. This has been a bit of a battle. Wasn't getting any spark with my sketchy spark plug wires. So I went through again and found another questionable mishmash of plug wires, and then I was able to get spark. And I am able to get it running for a few seconds by dumping gas down the carb. I haven't been able to get the fuel pump to draw fuel yet from my fancy auxiliary tank, so I just primed the fuel pump now, so I've got fuel going into the fuel pump. So I'm gonna give it another try here, and hopefully the fuel pump will do its thing now. It's a runner. A little smoky in here. I was starting to get a little worried that this one wasn't going to go, but fuel pump works. Seems to run on its own. If the gauge is accurate, it was building some oil pressure. Obviously is in desperate need of a tune-up, but I guess maybe I'll throw a set of plugs and some other tune-up goodies at it. But as for now, I'm going to be ripping the front sheet metal off, and so I can start doing some repairs to the cab. And once that's done, I can throw it all back together, put a rad in it, and then I can actually run it for a little longer, and then we'll see if we can get the transmission linkage to work, and we should be able to take it for a drive. So that should be fun. There's definitely no way that this thing ran as I was told when I bought it, because I had 2 broken off spark plug wires and no spark whatsoever, and all the plugs are absolutely filthy. So got all that cleaned up, and yeah, pretty happy with that.